SMT Nation, we are back. Nation, in today's video, we cover the developing stories around satellite connectivity. And there's a lot of companies getting involved, and I've speculated that there must be a reason. And I know a lot of people, don't view satellite connectivity as something that could replace terrestrial. And I think that sentiment is accurate, and I agree with it. It's not replacing it. But it appears with all the money that's going into satellite, there's something happening there. So this deal here with Apple and Globalstar, highly valuable. I think the satellite operator Globalstar, the stock rose like 31+% on this news. And we're talking about a $1.5 billion investment into Globalstar by Apple. For those of you that have been following that relationship, it's Apple relying on Globalstar for satellite connectivity for devices when you're not on a terrestrial cellular coverage area. So, you don't have the regular service. There's no signal, no towers around. Globalstar provides the connectivity for folks to have like the emergency messaging system, the SOS, and those types of things. And I think the first thing that Globalstar wants to do, obviously, reduce their debt with this investment. I think they'll take some of that and kind of tend to it. But this is another heavy investment of a big company going into these smaller satellite constellation builders. And we've seen T-Mobile with investments and partnerships with Starlink. We've seen both AT&T and Verizon investing heavily into ASTS, right? So we've seen these things continue. And I think we're just waiting for the next renaissance, which is going to be, in the case of Globalstar and Apple, going beyond the SOS emergency connectivity, right? So sending a text message and things like that. We're going to want to be able to see voice. We're going to want to see true data sessions, possibly. In order to do that, you're going to have to really densify those satellite constellations, and get those assets deployed. And that's going to take time. But Globalstar plans to continue creating more of these satellite capacity opportunities. They do have a legacy business, right? I think it's remote monitoring and tracking devices, and they'll continue to do that. But these LEO constellations, eventually, I think it's going to get to the point where very reliably texting, voice, and then like data sessions to devices whenever your terrestrial network isn't available. I just don't see it being obviously a replacement. But the fact that we see all these billions of dollars in these bigger companies forming these partnerships and investing into the companies directly with large amounts of cash, I think indicates that it's going to be bigger than we know. And I'm not saying it's, like I said, I'm not saying it's going to replace terrestrial. But sometimes I think aloud, on these videos, and I think this is going to be one of those things where, the cellular terrestrial networks seem to be compromised very often. Fiber cuts, power outages. The situations, the cybersecurity, we just saw what happened, with Verizon and AT&T, and we've seen T-Mobile go down for several days, and these things occur. And then these become your fallback for some form of connectivity. And there's, you could see the government agency piece to this as well. So I think there's a lot to this, much more than we know, but in a different way than I think traditional connectivity might work. But this is pretty big. Big for Apple, big for Globalstar for sure. And the whole satellite industry seems to be in a place where I think there's going to be some big upside here. What do you guys think? Sound off in the comment section below. The voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.